Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808, and today we have a very special guest in the house. We're talking to the legend that told you when it was time for some action whilst giving you the headbanger, a man who led EPMD fully on the rampage by bringing that funky, bouncy rap to your ears that left you singing It's Just Like Music. It's the green-eyed bandit himself, Erick Sermon. How are you doing, Erick? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? What up, Cam? How you feeling?
All good, man. All good. Thank you for popping on and making some time for us, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, first of all, man, we ask every guest who's jumped on board the same question. What's the least hip-hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours?
The least hip... Oh, I mean... man, I don't know. I watch TV?
What did you watch? What did you watch on the TV? Was it some Netflix special or something?
No, I watched we're watching the Donald Trump impeach scandal.
I see.
It's kind of interesting to watch what's going on with that.
Which way is it going to go, Erick? Which way is it going to go?
I think that it's not enough Republicans to bounce him out. Even though he did do what they said he did, it's not enough for them to impeach him to get him out.
You think he's around then?
Well, just around until the new election. I think that he has till November, next November.
I see it, man. I see it. Yes, I know. It's all the headlines, man. It's all the headlines. But if we're bringing it back to rap, man, this is a 90s hip-hop podcast, and we got a bona fide legend on in yourself right now. So I just want to start from the beginning, man. And I just want to know, in your childhood, when you were growing up, Long Island, how did you get into hip-hop? What space did hip-hop occupy in your life?
Well, again, me being from where I was at, it was very hip-hop. Like, we from Brentwood, Long Island, and it was very the culture. Like, it was like when I heard about the Bronx, I didn't have to go to the Bronx because Brentwood had it. We had graffiti artists, we had break dancers, we had MCs, we had DJs. It was very cultural. So as far as hip hop culture, and my mother brought me home Rapper's Delight, and she brought me home Apache.
Damn.
The first two records she brought home, and I was already hooked. But having the Rapper's Delight in front of me, I can hear it a lot, so I can know how it sounds like that. But my neighborhood had everything that I could ever need to become. So when I moved to my grandmother's house in the 8th grade, or maybe I was like maybe 13 or 14, I met Parrish. I was already advanced in rap.
And that's at 13. I mean, you started hitting the heights at a very young age professionally. So, like, you're talking there about your mother getting you
Well, not professionally, except for when I met Parrish, I knew how to rhyme. And it shocked him because he thought I was really, really good. So he told his friends, like, yo, this new kid in our school named Erick Sermon, he could really rap.
And was rapping your first thing you did in hip hop, or did you try breaking, or were you like bombing?
No, yeah, I know. I was the pop along kid first. I was popping first as far as breakdancing. But I think that everything came along with it at the same time, because immediately when I started dancing, rapping came too.
Okay. And then do you remember any of your first rhymes? Any of your first raps that you wrote?
Yeah. My first rhyme was Jane. Jane was my first rap. That was the rhyme that I used to say to everybody when I first met Parrish. It was Jane.
Oh snap! That was your first rhyme.
And then Jane ended up being one of the songs on the first album.
That is crazy, bro. How young were you when you wrote Jane then?
I was about 12.
Oh my God, Erick, that's some crazy shit, man. Seriously, that's amazing. And then do you remember, so obviously that's such a young age. A lot of 12-year-olds don't even participate in music. Do you know what I mean? A lot of 12-year-olds are happy just doing their thing and not really participating.
Yeah. But my neighborhood, when I tell you that, it was very, very filled with a lot of MCs, a lot of DJs, a lot of breakdancers. So it was intimate that it was going to happen if you wanted to do it, because it was right there. And there was so many people doing it in my neighborhood.
Do you remember then, like, when you were doing it and everyone's doing it, do you remember your first validation of you were good? Like the first moment where you knew, you know what, I can smash this? Like,
no, I never got that because I was too young to participate. They wouldn't let me get the mic at parties. They wouldn't do that. The only time that I got what I got is when I moved from that neighborhood and moved to Parrish's neighborhood, and then me and Parrish, made the demo, and then I bring the demo back to my old neighborhood.
Oh damn! Okay.
And they told me, and they gave me, they was critiquing the music, but me and Parrish just thought that we was we can make it because of stuff that we heard on the radio. Like the radio had played some shit one night and it wasn't good. Me and P was like, yo, we can do that.
Man, so you kind of validated yourselves. That's amazing, man. Did you have any other MC names before you going under Erick Sermon? Was there any other names?
Nah, no, but I just had when I don't even know where E.W. came from though, but E.W. was what I had.
Oh, okay, mate.
And then later on in 1992, when we was making crossover in that space that I paused at, Paris said E.D. the Green Eye Bandit, and that's where that came from.
And that stuck, man. That stuck forever, bro.
Yeah.
So if we fast forward and we're looking at like you're 12 years old, you started, then it's like 17. You're making a move here, like in the actual scene. How did you land, like with your creative impulses? It was mad creative. The EPMD stuff that first started, your first solo albums, it was like this funky but hard kind of edge to your music. What was your journey to get to that place? Like, what did you listen to or think, this is the style for me. This is the style I want to kind of...
Well, me and Pat's story is different because we didn't know that we was producers. So we didn't know what a producer was. We just took what we heard from home and brought it to the studio. So all that stuff that you heard on the first album was stuff that was at home or we heard from home.
Damn.
And then the second album, same thing too. Parliament, Zap, everything your parents had, Earth, Wind and Fire, The Whispers, Ohio Players, whatever that with Kool in the Gang, everything that we had at home is, Paris' father was a big music person and my dad was a big music person with albums all over the place as far as him buying new stuff. So I knew everything. So what we grew up with is what we felt. So while New York was sampling James Brown, we wasn't. Not that heavy. We was more into grooves because that's what we had. That what we was prone to listen to was grooves, bassline driven music, was bands.
That's really interesting because just as obviously from the UK, we don't really know you guys who are doing this. We're getting you like 2-3 kind of degrees removed. When I hear your music, there was so much West Coast in it. There was like a real groove of West Coast feeling in it. And
right.
I'm wondering, like, did you ever and I know that you definitely had friends with N.W.A. and they were in the big Payback video and stuff like that. But like a lot of people are sleeping, like even 90s heads like myself, the Joe Cocker kind of on Knick Knack Paddywhack, that stuff that the samples that you're using on that's the stuff that's like, Dre was known for 6, 7, 8 years later. Did you and Dre?
Yeah, but everybody know there's people that say, like, again, this is a big thing too that came from W.C. W.C. said the godfather of West Coast rap is Erick Sermon.
Damn.
And there's people that made that statement and be like, what do you mean? He'd be like, yeah, Erick Sermon, the EPM, they did this. They was the first ones to show us how to do that on our own feeling type music. We did sample, EPMD was when we first came out, we was in California every 2 weeks.
Right.
Because of our sound. They thought that we was from California, the suburbs of LA, not knowing it was Brentwood, Long Island, but there was a Brentwood in California that
of course.
I didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? Now you know about it because of OJ though, but they just thought that the music that we was sampling was West Coast gangbanger music, that they gotta be from here. But people will say though too, don't mention Dr. Dre without mentioning Erick Sermon.
That's what I was going to say though. Like it's a symbiotic thing. You two guys are like together. Like, did you ever sit down and compare notes with him or?
No, I didn't. Again, is the fact that we just happened to both come out at the same time. We both came out in 1988. On the other side of the world was a group called N.W.A. that was doing the same shit.
And do you remember your first meeting with them? And were you touring together? Or
yeah, of course. Yeah. I was on a couple of shows with them, and then me and Ice Cube became friends. Ice Cube came to me first to break up from N.W.A. He came to we put him on we was on the Luke Skywalker tour, and we put him on our tour bus for 5 days, and he broke it down to us what he wanted to do as far as leaving N.W.A.
Oh damn, man! And what did you say to him? Like, I mean, he's sitting there; it's a big crossroads.
He just asked a couple of questions. We're like, "Yo, you do what you got to do." And then he talked about going to New York and working with the Bomb Squad and the whole nine. next thing you know, it came true.
And then I hear a lot of rumors. I mean, because your legacy is huge, man. It's from the 80s, man. There's so many myths around Erick Sermon and EPMD, and we don't really know what's true and what's not true. But like, one thing I remember hearing is that Headbanger was actually made for Ice Cube to begin with.
I made that for Cube. I never got a chance to get it to him though, and that was the last 2 records I made before I dropped the 4th album. I made Crossover and Headbanger last.
Oh, snap. So he never heard it before you put it out?
No, he never heard it. Nope.
Oh, damn. So you had him in mind, though, when you made that beat, because it does sound
my
like
Headbanger, Headbanger record was like me making Time for Some Action. It was real loud like that. Like, Ice Cube could have did Time for Some Action, too, just as much as Reggie, because they had that same type of momentum and that same type of energy.
For sure, man, for sure. No, definitely. There's a lot of similarities there. You're recorded with so many artists, and EPMD did their thing and they smashed it in just a monumental group. We've had guests on this podcast come on and they've been like, yep, EPMD, that was the jam. Like 1988, that year is like unreal compared to most years.
Yeah.
So when you went from EPMD and just fast forwarding going to a solo act, did you take time to map out your solo goals? Were there anything different?
I did. It was just something that Russell asked me, do I want to do a solo album? I said, yeah, because I knew that the EPMD thing was something that I was not going to go back to. It was too much. There was some unhappy years, the last years of EPMD. 91, 92 was really bad for me.
What, you about 21, 22 then, right? Or something like that?
I guess, it had to be 18, 19, 20, 18, 21. Yeah, but by 21, 22.
That's a lot for a young man to be taking on board. Like, could you dive into like what it was about that time that you thought?
Nah, it was just the fact that stuff just wasn't right. It's always about how things are going, how money is. It's always financial. No matter what group who broke up with, whatever it is, it's always financial. And I just felt that stuff wasn't right. It didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was being told a lot, and it just seemed one-sided, But by the time the Headbanger video, the Headbanger video almost didn't happen. But behind the scenes, it was so much turmoil that day. Oh my God, it was so bad that day.
What happened? What happened?
No, it just flared up. It flared up as far as just between the two crews, as far as everybody that was on my side, everybody that was on his side, because the robbery had happened and people had said so that it was right around that time.
Yeah, man.
It was tension.
I know, and it comes, especially when you're young, and like you said, there's a lot of money involved, and I mean, you guys again are making like hits that are gonna last forever.
There was nothing like the Hit Squad was again the prime of our lives. Das Effects is on the charts. Redman's on the charts. Like, we never seen that before. K Solo, like, we had 4 guys on the Billboard charts at the same time, and we all in the same crew. It was unheard of.
Crazy, man. That is crazy. I mean, the fact that you wielded a fucking whirlwind that is at Redman. How did you even sign Redman? How did you even get to know Redman at that time?
Yeah, I met Redman at a show in Newark, New Jersey, where he's from, at Club Sensations, and Do-It-All was the rapper. Redman was his DJ, and Do-It-All rhymed for me. And then he said, "Oh, my DJ rhymed too." And after that, that was just that simple. And I signed Redman a month later.
Damn, do you remember that rhyme? What was he spitting?
I have no idea.
That's crazy, man. And you know what? If we're talking about Redman, I gotta ask you, man. Muddy Waters 2. What's it saying, man? What's it saying?
I have no idea.
Oh, Eric, man.
I just think that, again, it's a long story to go into. A Redman keep telling these people that this is coming, and next thing you know, 8-9 years passes by. I just think that I have no idea about, when you get older and everybody's grown man, close to 50 years old now, this is what they do. I don't have responsibility on that, and it's not like people think you stay together forever and you every day you with these people and this is how it is. It's not like that. Like people don't know. I had a long run with my crew. Dr. Dre did 1 album with Snoop. That's it.
That's absolutely true, man. That's so true. When you put it in that context, that's amazing. Yeah. You guys went on for, at least a decade, man. There was a lot of stuff coming on, man.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Definitely, man. And then when we talk about like the span of your legacy and all the music you've done, especially from the UK, and you're saying like, we don't know much about your relationships with people. This is why we love to talk to you guys, get some insight and what actually happened. When you look at your career as a whole, I've heard like again, lots of rumors, lots of little myths that go around. Erick Sermon, you were close to like people like Wu and Nas and 50 and even Biggie. Like you were around when these guys were first starting up. And I was thinking, like, is there any career move that you maybe get angry at yourself now you're looking back on your legacy?
Nah. I mean, I think that, and not because it's me, I don't think nobody is me. I don't think nobody was able to do what I did. Nobody that they can talk about what they're doing, but this was all me. I didn't have nobody doing nothing for me. This is all me. And the fact that half of the industry that came out, I saw them first. They came to me. That's the weird part. Ludacris and The Game and 50 and Biggie and you know, Nas, all these people that I saw, Fugees, everybody, I had them. They was all in my presence first. And nobody can say that. Wu-Tang Clan, all these people that I was too young to realize what this was. You know, I get to Atlanta and I start a culture in the city. Like, this is not like, you know, when I look at my life and my legacy, I don't see nobody like this. This is not something that somebody, it was one time in the 90s where nobody did anything without calling me. Not rap or R&B music. Everybody. That's why I was able to do so many people. You know, like, I still look back at myself like, yo, how the hell did I do all that?
Yeah. If you could talk to your younger self though, that guy now, what would you say to him, man? Like, would there any advice you'd give to him or anything like that?
Nah, because I just, again, you don't know life. Like I said, when life passes you by, you don't, like, for a time is something that, you know, you cannot get back. And if you don't look at it, when you look up, it's gone. And a lot of stuff I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even say I remember it. I was just doing what I thought, or I did what I was doing because it was a natural thing to wake up, go to the studio and make music, you know. By the time you look around, you know, 31 years is gone.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing to know you're just doing it. Like, you're just doing it to express yourself and it's happening and all the pieces are moving forward. And before you know it, holy shit, I've got like a legacy. Do you know what I mean? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but if I can tell people that it wasn't no effort, they wouldn't believe me. It wasn't effort. It was something that it was just like if you're Michael Jordan or something like that and you're playing ball and you're like, yo, look how the great. That's how it was with me. EPMD came in the game back then knowing that a studio session was $30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an hour. So we didn't have that much money. So we had to be prepared before we got in the studio. That means rhymes written, knowing what you get ready to sample, the whole nine. That was all prevalent. So I grew up that way. So all my songs were done fast, you know. So by the time I look up, the beats were made, the records were made, the ideas, whatever we made back then, and EPMD made the album, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So whatever I was making for Reggie, he took it. You know, whatever I made for Keith, he took it. Whatever I made, people, they took it. There was no questions asked. It was like, okay, this is what it was, and that was it. And I don't remember it because there was no time. Like, I didn't spend time on things.
But now you have time to reflect, though, getting a bit older, you know, you start looking at life differently. Is there like highlights from your career where you're like, damn, I can't believe I did that? Like, I'm amazed I did that. Or I'm very...
I just said it, the whole 90s. I just don't, you know, when I look at what was accomplished in the 90s, you know, as far as what I was able to do with rap and R&B music, I bug out. You know,
yeah, man. Out. Yeah, I appreciate exactly why as well, man. That's crazy. I mean, when you look, you just mentioned there that you went from to Atlanta and you started like a whole new home there, which is now the home of modern rap. What was the city like when you first got there in Atlanta?
It was just loving. You know, it was like this Southern hospitality. You know, I got there too, and I shot the first video, which is Stay Real, the first video I've ever shot downtown. I shot it downtown. And begin in my back of my rim shop, I had Jagged Edge, 112, Goody Mob, David Banner. These people asking me to tell you these stories. They'd be like, they was trying to get signed. But at that time, everybody was in the back of my rim shop. All the groups I made, these are groups that became famous that was trying to get me to sign them.
And then is there anyone you wish that you had signed at that time?
No, I mean, I can't go back on that. or whatever, this and that, because again, I wouldn't, I was ready for that, so I wasn't. Only one I look back on, if I wish I would remember, was the Biggie Smalls, because I don't have a recollection of Biggie being by me except my Hit and Switches video where he was on set the whole time, following me around everywhere I went.
Damn,
but
that's crazy.
I don't know the stuff before that, when they came to the barbershop and I talked to him with the barbershop with Mr. C, like all that stuff that happened with him, I don't remember.
This is life, right? Serendipity, things happen, things don't happen. You may not have heard Redman, you may have heard Biggie. This is how it all works, right?
Right.
When I now look at like just the legacy the hip hop culture has brought, and this podcast and documenting and talking to yourself and people like Muggs and Preemo and Monch and all these different people, when you talk to them, I realize I've got a little boy. He's like 2.5 years old. And I'm like, damn, I need to get him ready and him prepared to listen to the things that shaped me, and hopefully he takes things out of that as well. If you were to recommend my little lad one Erick Sermon record or song or album, which one would you go and why?
Recommend an album for him?
When he's older. Say he's like 12, 13, and he's like, do you know what? Who's EPMD or Erick Sermon or what's this track? Is there one I should go, no, listen to this one first?
I would say what best describes me is that this thing, like everybody's first album, I think Strictly Business, to know that the pure innocence of You Got to Chill, You're a Customer, Strictly Business, Jane, that whole situation of, It's My Thing. There was 5 singles on that album. That's like, it's almost unheard of, but that's what it was back then. We listened to The Visions of Slick Rick. We listened to Paid in Full. Like all these albums back then that was classics. Big Daddy Kane, they had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 records. The whole album was played.
Damn.
It was unreal.
But it still bangs. But it still bangs. That's the thing. Like, You're a Customer, I was looking at that and thinking the samples on this are ridiculous. Like, this must have been sampled quite a lot. Like,
no, the beat has been sampled so many times. I made so much money off them drums, not even funny. I even had a, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that too, because I recently saw Premiere again, and I brung it up to him. And he was like, I was like, yeah, I said, I could have sued you for mass appeal. He said, you knew those was Your Customer? I'm like, though, there's no other Lindrums out there at the time, but Erick in Paris, like, this is Your Customer. He's like, wow. Damn. I said, no, I've been new when I first heard it. There's about 15 records in hip hop, huge, that Your Customer sample.
Damn, that is crazy. Can't believe you brought Preemo up on that. That is sick. That's amazing, man. But this is what I'm saying. That's the kind of timeless thing that you can listen to over and over again. And that's probably the record I would play to him. So yeah, fair play. That's up there. If we're moving on to like the hits that you made and the certain just artists you were around, again, we're talking about all these stories we hear. There's one story I heard the other day on the internet. Canibus was like a member of Def Squad.
Yeah, he was.
Is that true?
You can go on YouTube. He says it.
What? What happened there?
Same as 50 Cent. If you go to the end of the record I did with 50 Cent, it's called Heat Wave. At the end, he'd be like, Erick Sermon, Def Squad. He don't mention no other crew.
Damn, that's crazy. What happened with them two then?
Canibus was a fact that, again, at the end of the day, he was anxious, so he went to the Wyclef thing when he was offered it, because he was really with the Lost Boys first.
Yes, yeah.
He was straight Def Squad, man. He was, I gotta tell you, Cam, nobody, I don't know what it was, nobody who was anybody, they came to me first. I don't understand it. Like, I can't really explain it to tell people, like, yo, what was that? They can never say that. Like, you hear other stories, but nothing like this.
But that's the thing though, Erick, right? You're doing the beats, you're doing the raps, you've got that lisp that you can hear straight away. You've got all this stuff, but you also have the producer's head, as in like, if I'm listening to 4321, I remember when I first saw that video, that's the first time I ever saw DMX, ever. I'd never, in UK, he wasn't around, and I was in. And the beauty of that is you put him last of all the features before LL came on. That's the kind of genius where I'm thinking, like, what made you do that on that track alone? Like, what made you think, you know what, X deserves?
Yeah, I just knew that, I just put Red and Meth together because I figured Red and Meth should be together because, again, it was how high. And it felt like that supposed to come at that point. Stay out the dark. Like, I was going to drop the beat like I did. And one of the clowns, then because again, I just felt like, you felt the energy had to be at that part. It had to
Definitely.
be there, like, because I couldn't wait for the last. I couldn't wait to, because again, you heard it. Same with the Canibus part. The Canibus part 2 on the other remix part, Canibus came on after him. I figured that Canibus had enough energy to come on after him on the remix too, along with LL Cool J.
Yeah.
But it's like Reservoir Dogs, knowing that okay, oh shit, here's this guy named Benny Siegel. So I got Chic Luch going on first, and then it's Siegel, and then Source Money.
Mm.
And then I had to get the rest of the locks in. But that right there was more challenging than 4321 as far as lineup.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
They were all top tier at that time as well, though. They were all top tier.
And that's why it was so hard. It was, everybody was incredible. Everybody.
That's a classic. That's a banger. But if we're talking about single tracks, though, like Reservoir Dogs is classic. Whatever Man, How High, all these tracks that you've done. And then if we're talking about the album process, Vernier came out, dope album, so many good features on there. It's nice to hear you back, like, bringing that sound again. A few things I wanted to ask about that is, when you go in and you're doing a new album, and this album's been a while since you haven't dropped something, what was the first day? What's the first day typically look like for you? Or is there even a typical first day when you write an album like that?
Yeah, Cam, my thing was my grandmother was one of my best friends. So at the end of the day, I was kind of upset that I really didn't spend a lot of time with her towards the end, because I was really doing whatever I was doing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make this album for grandma. I said, I'm going to, at this climate, everybody was saying, of course, you can't. This is, at this climate, this is none. I'm like, but they don't know that I've traveled to Europe. I'm on my social media. Mainstream is not what you think mainstream is. Mainstream is always hip hop. It's always going to be the culture. It's always going to be bigger than that.
Definitely.
But they won't know that because they're only giving you what they want you to hear. But this is shit ain't going nowhere, ever. So I want to tell people that. And I went back and got the 90s. And I went back and got, Big Crit too. Was like, again, was with some of the new people who I went and got. But the 90s, which is No Malice, of course, from the Clips, of course, just incredible MC. And then Raekwon and all of them. And then, but I just, I sat down and said, I'm going to make me a hip hop LP, nothing different. I'm not going to do nothing that reflects what they're doing now. I'm going to make me an LP. And that's what I sat down and I thought about.
That's interesting, man. And what was the most fun part of that process for you? Like, just getting that together?
No. I mean, it was fun just doing the whole thing, to just making sure that everybody was represented correctly as far as the MCs I chose, and making some dope records. Like, when I first heard Me, Styles P, and AZ, I'm like, wow, this shit right here is, oh my God, this shit is the get. And I knew from this from the Donna Ross sample, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to add no drums to this. This is going to be like us just talking and getting this off our chest. Like, where did the game go?
Yeah, man.
Because I want to ask you the question, where did the game go? And then I didn't know that I was going to be able to convey it the way I wanted to, until I heard me doing 32 bars for Ryman. And I was like, so that's why I put AZ and Styles P together, to make those two 16s 32, so it can match up with my 32. Once I was like, wow, this is going to be something special. Then, I called Shaq and Exhibit and David Banner, and we had, again, this friends, but doing hip hop, but I did not know that it was going to do what it did, because I'm independent. But when Nas started posting, Snoop started posting, Shaq, Michael Rappaport, all these people, the Pharrells, the Diamond, everybody was coming out the woodworks. Like, yo, did you play the Erick Sermon? Did you put, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, because again, you don't, but you kind of know that hip hop is the mainstream and people just waiting. And it seemed like after I did that, it seemed like everybody's dropping LPs now. As far as just from then, Styles P, Diamond, Ray, they all coming. Everybody's coming. Bun B, everybody's dropping Coogee. Everybody's dropping albums. Because again, at the end of the day, Mick Jagger, though, nobody, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, none of them nobody look at what their age is. Is the music good or is not good? That's it.
That's it. And then when you're talking about your sound, like bringing that hip hop back and that kind of very 90s feel to it as well. But if you look on the flip side, is there anything in modern music or modern rap or modern music generally that's inspiring you and maybe where your sound may go next? Or is there anything that you can pick on?
Nah, I just think that there's too many people out there, Cam, that love music. I got to keep making music. I can't make something that's like me having my own track lib sampling company makes me happy because I'm able to sample what I want, and find new ideas every day.
Yeah.
Like we just picked up the Isaac Hayes collection, which I'm proud of.
Oh, damn.
I got to continue to make music. When you see Bruno Mars and wonder why he's so big, he's making music. There was no secret. He made music, so this is what I want to do. I want to continue to make music. I think that modern, what you call whatever they're making now, is a program. I can make that program. I can make that music do what I want to do by doing it in the computer and putting in numbers. It's a program. And that's just what it is. There's no disrespect to it, but it's a program of sound. So that's why TrackLib is so important. I'm glad that we bring this up because this sampling company, TrackLib, is so important. Me and the guys from Sweden that, where also Spotify is from, felt that we can change the culture back to fun again by having creativity, by making it easy for them to want to sample and make it affordable for them to sample. That's why this TrackLib is so important. And I'm so glad that people like, J. Cole used it for Middle Child, on TrackLib, Cool and Dre, Mary J. Blige, a lot of people using TrackLib now. And I'm hoping that later on in the future, it will be second nature that everybody knows about TrackLib and we start hearing more creative music instead of the same stuff that we hear in the same sound, same everything. But that's what made hip hop so incredible during this time because everything sounded different.
Yeah, man.
Can you imagine when people talk about hip hop then and all the groups that was so different?
That's crazy.
But still went platinum, still went gold, without sound like each other, without featuring with the same 3-4 people. It existed. So these kids got to understand that you don't have to do this. Right now, KRS-One said it a long time ago. Instead of you trying to compete with your colleague, you're saying, oh, I can make that too. And you making what your colleague is making. So that's why we all sound the same.
Yeah.
We don't even know what groups they are, what their name is, who they are, because they all sound the same. And that's not saying it. That was Public Enemy. That was De La. That was Eric B. Rakim. That was Kane. That was Biz. That was Scarface. That was Ghetto Boys. That was Too Short. That was N.W.A. That was Tribe Called Quest. That was like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man.
Public Enemy. It was unhurt, nice and smooth. Know by nature. Pharrell March. Black Star. You hear where I'm at?
Yeah, man. The landscape was unreal. That's why it's a golden age. And a golden age that lasted like 10 years, man. Like, that doesn't happen. And that's what we grew up in. And this is what this podcast is about, man. Getting people like yourself to kind of show, and we get a lot of young listeners as well. So to hear how varied and unreal that landscape was. Like, you had so many different acts.
Unreal.
Yeah, unreal.
Farside. We talking about, so many groups and everybody was all platinum.
Yeah,
you get to the Wu-Tang clans, the Death Squad, Redman, Method Man, they Busta Rhymes, Big Pun. Biggie, Tupac. Like, look at all these variables of people that was different. It's like, yo, what is that?
Yeah, man.
So how can you tell me that this is cool? That we're doing the same thing.
No, it's true, man. It's true. And, you can find the different artists here and there, whatever, but you're right. They weren't going platinum. They weren't all getting millions of people listening to them. And that's the difference.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is DJ Premier, and you're checking out the Crates 808 podcast. I put an S on it because there's more than one record in the crate, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we dig, that's how we play, and that's what real DJs do. You heard? That's why it goes down. We out here.
If we're moving on from that, and like you're just talking to you now, man, it's inspiring me. It's inspirational talking to you. I can imagine what it's like when you're working with artists and you're pushing them. There was a story I heard about Pharrell, and he said the track Full Cooperation inspired him to make music.
Yeah. Hell yeah. If you play Jay-Z's I Used to Love Her, I'm a hustler, baby. Rockwilder jumped out the chair like, Eric, I just put them together. Mystical, danger. Boom, boom, boom. He like, yo.
Yeah.
My man was in the session when he said Pharrell played 19 tracks till he got to the Jay-Z's, the record. And that once that hit, he was able to find that pattern. And that pattern gave him new life.
Yeah. And did you ever talk to Pharrell then? Did you ever sit down and talk to him? Or was there a chat ever about music?
I told you, when every time he see me, he bows. And I was wondering why he was doing that. I said, yo, why are you bowing like that? He says, because you king.
Damn. That says it all, man. That says it all. Pharrell's a genius, and he's just talking to someone like yourself like that. That obviously puts you in that spot. If we're just moving on then, and then if we're going into other like regular things we talk about on the podcast, we have someone like yourself, man. Again, we can't over explain how massive a deal that you've worked with literally everyone. But if I had to put you on the spot today and like your top 5 MCs, could you list your top 5 MCs?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, man, but I had to.
Okay, I always have to say Rakim is number uno. To begin with, he's my mentor. He's everything that, again, the reason why I rhyme, why I kept going, because once I heard Eric B for president, it was confirmation for me.
Okay.
Slick Rick, the best storyteller in the world ever, period. And people look at too what he said, how he said it, wordplay, all of it. Everything about him was ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Biggie Smalls, of course, no matter what, 1 album, 2 albums, or whatever, it don't matter. Nobody put words together like that. Not like that, man.
Thank you.
It's a situation. And again, I'm gonna have to say Nasir Jones, again, he was before his time. It took me a while to know too that again he was that ill, because he was like ill, like the type of shit I like, how I like it to be.
Did you ever sit in on any of the Illmatic sessions? Were you around at that time? What were you doing at that time?
Yeah, I had Nas. I had him first.
So what was that? What was that position? What was that position like when he was doing Illmatic? Like...
I just didn't know. I just wasn't on that type of vibe. But I had Das Effects and I had Joe Sinister and Redman or whatever, and he was talking stuff that I never heard before, which was street content. Don't forget the MCs I had was more technique style. Keith Murray. Ooh, I might lose my cool and break fool and pull out my get busy tool. Like the most beautiful thing. Like I had people on that type of. It was in Das Effect. Mickey Mike check. Like you see what caliber I had. I had more technique, more other type of rhymes, lyricists than I had street stuff, and so I didn't take Nas seriously. So I missed out.
And so you got one more spot in your top 5 then?
I did 4. Who was the 4?
So it was Nas, Biggie.
It's gonna this is again, man. You gotta look at, because there's 2 of them too. It's Nas. It's KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane. These are 2 people too. Because the reason why I could say Kane, because again it was more Rakim, but Kane was a problem too, man. He was a problem. But KRS-One was a problem.
Damn.
Damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. You know what I mean? So, again, hey, this is where I'm at. Because, again, Cube was just like, again, a Slick Rick storyteller, which is crazy. I want to say, you can't really get your top 5 because there's so many.
Yeah,
and
for
then,
sure.
You can't leave out Jay-Z because, again, he really is that. But he's so big. He's so pop. Like, it's like Drake when Drake first came out. Lil Wayne, they was insanely incredible.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like Lil Wayne says some. They, you know what I'm saying? So again, but I just know that my 3. I give you my 3: Rakim, Biggie.
Yeah.
Slick Rick.
Okay. You know what? I feel you. It's hard. It's a hard question to answer, to be fair. But the fact that you said
because
those,
again, you gotta look at Outkast, Andre 3000. Like you gotta look at again when you get older and you go back and you play these sick cam. You like, God, you was doing that, like yo, mate. Scarface. I was playing these records like, yo, It's another one. Like,
do you know
come
what I mean?
on, man.
That's it, man. That's it, man. I mean, Outkast as well. That's Atlanta. So you were in Atlanta when these boys were coming up. Like, this is your fingerprints are everywhere, man. It's just everywhere. That's what I'm saying. If we were looking at like
Outkast's favorite group is who?
Oh, don't tell me EPMD, man.
Das Effects.
Das Effects. Is it serious? Oh man, I can.
That's why you listen to Big Boy. Big Boy still does the cadence. It was a rhyme in one of the songs where Dre says, "My favorite group is not coming with it, but anyway." He was talking about Das Effects.
Oh snap! That's crazy. I never even knew that. Oh my god, that's amazing. That's what I mean. But that's it. That's the fingerprints. Do you see what I'm saying? The fingerprints.
Phife thought his favorite group was EPMD. He made that known.
And you can see that though in Tribe. You can see the Tribe is the natural extension of that.
Mm-hmm.
The funk, just the funk and the samples.
Yes,
man.
yes. Of them not having me, but having Jay Dilla to do what I would do.
Did you ever link up with Jay Dilla? That's interesting because
I never met him.
Yeah, that would have been.
I just knew that he was fans of me, Pete Rock, people like that. I heard about it.
Yeah, man. But like again, another thing. Again, we've talked about the hundreds of tracks you've got that have made a difference in the game. But is there a beat that you wish you'd have made that isn't yours? And can you tell me why you like it? Like, is there something out there where you think, God damn, I wish I made that?
Scratches LL Cool J Ill Bomb.
Oh, snap.
Ooh. Yo, that record is crazy. That beat is insane, man. Insane.
Yeah, man.
Or Dr. Dre's Still.
Oh, mate,
bing,
yes.
Bing, 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 bing. Yo.
Bro.
Man. I don't know if it's the beat or the way that Jay-Z wrote Dre's rhymes. The way, like, he floating on that record.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's iconic. It's that track that, I know where I am right now. In time. You know what I mean?
In time, yes.
It's just crazy. And then you talk.
I remember watching this video for the first time. Matter of fact, no, I've been watching them doing the either New Year's or MTV Awards outside in the rain when they first performed.
Oh man, that must have been unreal. But mate, what an answer! Still Dre, of course, man. Of course, Ill Bomb as well. Yes, I like that, man. I knew there'd be something like LL. I thought there'd be something around that time, because again, he was killing it. So.
But anything that Preemo did too, man. Jesus Christ, like fucking.
Oh man, we just had him on. And he's
like for real.
Yeah.
Like Nas is like fucking Biggie from all
unbelievable.
Like it's no matter. Like Jesus Christ.
But this is it. This is what space you guys were occupying at the same time, and that's what makes my mind blow. Is the fact that Preemo was doing his thing, Dre was doing his thing, you're doing your thing. Dilla, it's like at the same time. That's unheard of, and you were all just absolutely killing it with your own signature sounds.
Yeah, you're right. That's you know what, Cam? I never even realized that. That's true.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. And that's the world we were living in, and we're blessed, man. We're blessed for that.
Right.
If we're looking at we have some listener questions. When I told them, Green Eye Bandit's coming on, so we flooded in the DMs, man. So I picked out a few that I thought you might want to answer. We got one here from Lee Can. He says, who or what is 555? Because he's seen it on the back of EPMD albums, on the thank you lists, and he's always really curious what 555 is.
Well, I have no idea, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Wow, that's a good answer. I'm gonna ask Parrish.
That's a deep pull.
Put that down. Is somebody saying in the credits?
Yeah,
it's called 555.
Yeah, in the thank you lists. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, there's a 555, but I do not know what that is. So,
me neither. That sounds weird, though.
Yeah, right? Some Illuminati shit. That's what it is. It's some Illuminati shit here right now, Eric. This is what's happening. Well, okay. So I'm glad that you're lost as we are, because we were like, okay, that's interesting. What is that? Another one that I think you may have answered back in the day, but Grindhouse Music did come up and they said, I would love to know more about the circumstances of possibly your biggest hit of all time, music. How do you even go about trying to get unreleased Marvin Gaye vocals?
Well, my homegirl just brought it back from London. She was in London and she brought it back. I don't know where she got it from. She got it from some store she was at, or somebody where she picked it up from. And she knew that Midnight Love, that album, one of my favorite albums. I used to, when I was 12 years old, my mom's bought it because Sexual Healing, of course. But I played the whole album. I just put it on the record player and played the whole album from front to back. And I was about 11, 12 years old still but I was so involved. I loved it. And Marvin Gaye had died too that year. Too. It was kind of, we were sitting in my aunt's room and it came across the screen that Marvin had died. Maybe I was like, maybe I was 13. Maybe I was a little bit older. But I knew the album, and my best friend Carolyn Robbins, she knew I loved the album, so she brought it back for me, and I went and picked it up. I went all the way to Brooklyn to go get it that night. I came back at 1 a.m. I finished the whole track at 3 a.m. I called her, and that was it. I finished the whole record in 2 hours.
Jesus.
Because I was so excited of wanting to hear myself with Marvin Gaye that I'm like, yo, I'm going to make it now and see how it sounds.
That is unheard of. That's mad.
Yeah, it is. It's very scary.
Yeah, 2 hours, man, and you just made a classic. That's crazy, man. Well, that now we know. And then was it his estate? Like, his estate were okay with getting the vocals and stuff like that? Like, is that how you went through it? 'Cause I'm guessing...
No. Yeah, I mean, I had to get it cleared. I paid $200,000 for that sample.
Oh, snap. But you made that back, surely, man, with that.
Yeah, but I ended up getting $4 million from Clive Davis. So I knew what I was, what I was doing and how it was going to work.
4 million off Clive Davis. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Again, another figure who's had a big influence in hip hop, man, as well as R&B and stuff like that you've done. So if we're going on then, you just mentioned there about your homegirl being in London. What are your thoughts on UK music, man? Because I know you've been here bare times. You've been here so many times, been to Europe. Like, what are your thoughts on UK music?
I never really, I just hear the popular stuff that makes it over here. Yeah, I think Europe is a place that, again, they just respect Europe like R&B a lot. I knew that from the door as far as how they feel about R&B music a lot, period. But the hip hop, again, it kept us, I was there since I first dropped my first album. So people, don't forget, Sleeping Bag Records was a European label. It was, so it was owned by somebody in London. So, but as far as the music, all I knew was the popular music London scene of what was abroad. Because the hip hop, I never heard it because I don't think y'all had it yet, and I wouldn't know.
Oh, right, okay.
I wouldn't know none of it now.
Oh, right. Be interested what you think some of the stuff that's coming out. I mean, it went from you guys breaking the mold, us guys kind of copying it, but it wasn't ours. And then over the last 20 years, it's really become like grime. And there's a lot of artists now who are influenced by yourselves, funk music, soul music.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, man, you got to get on that. But like so one more question that we do ask generally. We talked about Wu. We talked about generally them being around you when they first came out. We talk about them a lot on this podcast. They're just a huge amount of work they've brought out. But we have a playlist which is like the Slept On Wu-Tang Clan bangers. So tracks that not everyone really talks about, but they're absolute bangers. Is there any Wu-Tang Clan banger where you would say, you know what, this one deserves more love, or you need to really get into this one? Do you have any?
I don't know if this is going to be one of them because it was the first single, but Protect Your Neck was, to me, was slept on. I just think that lyrically, everybody was fantastic. Even before you look at Bomb Atomically, what's the name of that? I can't remember. That's in my
Deck.
head.
The Triumph.
Triumph. That, again, came and showed everybody's skills, but Protect Your Neck, the first single, I think that people, because they don't perform that like that, and people didn't get into Wu-Tang until Method Man and then 36 Chambers.
Yeah.
But Protect Your Neck, to me, is one of the dopest records made in hip hop.
Yeah, man. I feel you. I completely endorse that message from Erick Sermon, by the way. So,
okay.
But yeah, man, that's wicked. So 2019, coming to the end of the decade, 2 questions I have for you. Last decade, who are some of your favorite artists or albums in this last decade of hip hop?
The last decade, I'm going to have to say of Jay-Z's 444.
Yeah, man.
J. Cole, all three of the last. He was just phenomenal content, beat wise. Even though I like the fact that he straddles both well, like he's able to do the new, but also keep the content massive real. That means he doesn't sway.
Yeah.
The beat might change, but his conversation doesn't change.
I mean, you got your Kendricks, you got your...
Kendrick is also, again, that type of situation where I enjoyed him too. And I enjoyed the records on him too. So Yeah.
Wicked, man. Like that. Well, man, thank you, Erick, man, for blessing us. We really appreciate his time. Is there anything you wanted to plug before you leave?
Nope, Cam. That's it. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
Okay. One last question we do ask, though. What's the last great piece of music you heard, like, generally? Just today or whenever, like, where you're like, damn, that is great. Could be old, could be new, could be anything.
Oh, man. Last great piece of work. I could say Life After Death. You know?
Oh, okay. Life After Death. Yeah. I've not heard that for a minute. So, yeah, fair. That's good. I like it, man. I like it.
All right.
Thank you, Erick. Thank you, man. Well, you take it easy, man. All right?
All right.
Thank you. Peace. Peace.
Hey, yo, this your boy Pharrell Marching. Right now, you are rocking live with the Crate 808 podcast. Enjoy this week's episode, and just remember to subscribe and rate and review. Peace.
Well, there you go. That was Erick Sermon, one half of EPMD and a whole large big chunk of hip-hop history. Yes, man, blessed us, came in. We're on a bit of a run at the moment. We've got Muggs on, we've got Mayhem, Monch, Preemo, Erick Sermon. It's a bit crazy, man, that we're hitting like these 90s heads. That it's just interesting to hear their takes on music generally. I thought there was a lot of insight coming from Sermon there, and yeah, man, like just amazing to sit down and chat with these people and bring you some of the takes. So yes, hope you're enjoying the podcast. Big up yourselves, man, for sharing this stuff. We hit another peak. People have like kind of just hit into another whole nother gear, man. So we're getting a lot of shares, we're getting a lot of likes, people out there giving a lot of feedback. So yeah, we appreciate all of you. Please go out there, please rate, review and subscribe. I know everyone says it on every podcast, but it really does mean a lot, especially just the rating and the reviewing thing. And yeah, man, get out there, tell everyone about it. Any 90s heads, let them know, man. We out here talking 90s. We've got debates, we've got interviews, we've got so much more coming up. Shout out Grindhouse Music for doing all the music for this podcast. Catch us on Twitter at Crate808. Instagram is kicking off as well. A lot of 90s kind of stream of consciousness stuff there. Crate_808. Anywhere you want to get us, YouTube, Facebook, wherever, man. Just go to crate808.com. We're on there, man. We're doing our thing. And yeah, what's next? I don't know, man. We've got so many things coming up. I can't even tell you what's coming up next. But Christmas is going to be lit. We've got a lot of album debates coming up. We're going to do a few cheeky little different things if we can. And yeah, hopefully keep delivering you guys what you want, which is us chatting some 90s hip hop. So anyway, big up everyone. Big up all the podcasts out there doing your thing. You know who you are. And yeah, I shall catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Right.